Welcome back. It is now time for business. Indeed, Matthew is here, and we're going to have a look at the markets first. Matthew, what's been going on?
Yes, well, we're going to start looking at Asian markets, because an hour ago when we looked at them, all of the Asian markets were in the red. There's quite a lot of nervousness around at the moment. A mixture of figures, some good economic data trickles out, and then we get some bad company results as well. So we can see what's happening now over in Asia. We've got a mixed picture. We've got positive movement on the Hang Seng and the Shanghai Composite, but the Nikkei has closed down this morning. We can also go over and look at the US and how things wrapped up there yesterday. Also a mixed picture. The Dow pretty flat, the other two moving up. As I said, some generally good data, but everyone's waiting to see what the jobless figures are like, and those will be out today from the US. But let's go back to Asia now, because Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany is over in China on a 3-day trip. She's been talking about the Eurozone crisis, amongst other things. We're going to go live to our correspondent in Beijing, Shannon von Sant, who's going to be able to tell us a little bit more about what's happening. Shannon, thank you for joining us this morning. Now, Premier Wen Jiabao was talking about how China might help Europe. What did he say exactly?
That's right. Merkel met with Wen Jiabao yesterday, and he said that it's urgent that a solution be found to the Eurozone debt crisis. He said that China is considering how to, quote, get more deeply involved in resolving Europe's debt crisis. And he also said, quote, China is investigating and evaluating concrete ways in which it can, via the IMF, get more deeply involved in solving the European debt problem through the European Bailout Fund. Now, European officials say that this is a real change of tune for China, that this is a change in position for them, and they say more concrete terms will be discussed at a China-EU summit in 2 weeks. The focus of Merkel's visit here, of course, has been the debt crisis in Europe, and she's been attempting to reassure Chinese leaders about the stability of the Eurozone.
Shannon, tell us a little bit more about what's planned for today. What will Chancellor Merkel be doing in Beijing?
Yeah, well, Merkel, this morning, she's already met with President Hu Jintao, and she's already on her way to Guangdong province, which is a center of manufacturing and a center of business, particularly for German firms in China. A lot of factories are along the Pearl River Delta in that province. And Europe is China's biggest trading partner, so of course they have a big stake in resolving the Eurozone debt crisis there. And Germany, trade with Germany has increased hugely. It increased 20% in 2011 from the year before. So before Hu Jintao's meeting with Merkel this morning, he said that her visit would do a lot to increase mutual understanding between the two countries. And it seems like her visit has also done a lot potentially to help solve the crisis in Europe.
Shannon van Sant joining us there from Beijing. Thanks very much indeed for all of that. Time for a look at some of the rest of the day's business news. India's Supreme Court has cancelled 122 mobile telephone licenses awarded in a 2008 sale. The botched sale at below market prices is estimated to have cost the country $39 billion. A fresh auction of the 2G licenses will be held within 4 months. India is the world's second largest cellular market with 15 operators. Analysts expect that some smaller companies will now be leaving that market following the decision.
And French luxury goods giant LVMH announced its sales rose by 16% in 2011, with profits of just over €3 billion. The owner of brands including Louis Vuitton and Sephora perfume stores said Asia was its top market, accounting for 35% of revenues. The company also predicted a good 2012 despite the difficult economic environment in Europe. And Group CEO Bernard Arnault said the company was well equipped to continue its growth momentum across the board this year. Now, I don't know if you know anyone who works for Facebook, Melissa, but one of the frequently repeated claims about the company is that thousands of their employees and other people are going to be made into millionaires and even billionaires by the flotation. Well, while many stand to make a great deal, the reality is a little bit more complicated. Catherine Viette has the details.
It's being touted as the biggest IPO of an internet company ever, and the hype is hitting overdrive. Media reports say 1,000 people will become overnight millionaires when Facebook goes public. For that to be true, every one of the company's 700 employees as of the end of 2008, along with hundreds of other employees and investors, would have to hold shares worth at least $1 million or more. Those set to cash in, Mark Zuckerberg, the site's founder and CEO. After the sale, he could end up with stock worth $28 billion. Beyond Zuckerberg, original employees and early investors stand to make a mint. Divya Narendra and the Winklevoss twins, immortalized in the 2010 film The Social Network, hold stakes of about 0.022%, which could be worth a collective $66 million. Not everyone associated with Facebook is going to get rich, however. While the company was generous with stock options early on, it grew tighter over time, and for the last few years has not been offering stock options to new employees. For those few lucky enough to have gotten in on the ground floor, they can expect a nice windfall.
Now, Sunday, of course, Matthew, a big sporting event in the United States and a huge day for the country's advertisers.
Yes, it's a big day. I think it's the biggest sporting event in the whole of the US sporting calendar. It's the Super Bowl, which is, I don't know if you're a Super Bowl fan, but it's the American football final. This year it's between the New York, I have to check this, the New York Giants.
You're not much of an American
I'm
football
not myself
fan
really.
yourself,
The New York
then.
Giants and the New England Patriots. Don't know who you support from them. But it's a massive sporting event. But not only that, it's just a huge event for everybody. Madonna will be playing in the interval of the event, and she said she's really nervous about that. And the other thing that's a big part of this are the ads. Now, a 30-second spot in one of the breaks in this game cost about $3.5 million.
So you want to get your ads right.
You've got to get your ads right, and it's only the big ones, that big companies that really go for it. And some of them have been released early, and there's one actually we can take a look at now, which is this one from Honda, starring Matthew Broderick. Let's take a look.
How could I resist?
Look, I don't know what to tell you. He's sick. Actors get sick sometimes.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Get going in the all-new CR-V from Honda.
Now, that's actually sort of a reprise of the role he had in the 1980s in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Encouraged us all to skive off school.
Encouraging everyone to
skive
skive off school, yeah, exactly. Lots of other companies as well, though, taking part, and a few new companies coming on board this year as well. We've got Lexus, the luxury car company. We've also got David Beckham, who's just designed that new line. There he is for H&M.
Yeah, pretty extraordinary pictures. We were admiring them earlier.
And we've got as well Audi, Chrysler, lots of car companies like to get involved in this, and lots of celebrities as well. Now, the ads are a big deal, but the viewers really get involved in all of this and vote for the ads that they like. And this year there'll be a special app on Facebook which will allow people to vote for the ads that they rate most highly. And then, of course, as well, they'll be played on YouTube so people can keep watching them. So companies really try to get as much value as they can out of this huge investment they make in the Super Bowl.
Matthew Warren, with all the very latest from the world of business. Thanks very much indeed for all of that. In just a couple of minutes, we'll be back with all the very latest international headlines. Do stay with us for more news.
It's a modern-day battle of the Caribbean. And beyond business, we're looking at the legal fight between two